Good morning, everyone. It is around 8:30 in the morning and it feels like it's mid-afternoon. It is so hot. I think we're at like at least 91% humidity, so it is very hot and very humid today. I have been putting off working outside all week because it has just been so extremely hot, even in the mornings and in the afternoons. The heat index has been into the hundreds, which I know that a lot of you are dealing with as well. So I hope that you all are surviving this crazy heat. But I am determined today to come out and do a little bit of work. I have not really shown you my containers yet. I have one right behind me. So I thought that it would be nice to do a little container tour today and kind of combine that with some container maintenance. I am going to be going out of town pretty soon, and that is just the perfect time to do some container maintenance. They all need fertilized and some of them need trimmed back to kind of give them that mid-summer rejuvenation prune. So I am gonna bring you along for that with me today. Hopefully the sun can stay behind the clouds for a good amount today. I think we are supposed to get some rain tonight, which would be fantastic. You can see it kind of looks more like fall around here because my river birch trees, not mine, my neighbor's river birch trees right behind me and above me are shedding tons of leaves because it has just been so hot and so dry, and that's just what happens when we have those conditions. So everything's looking a little bit crispy. The grass is brown, but a lot of my containers are beautiful. So let's take a walk around and see what's going on. And at the end, I'll also just give you a quick update on my hand. You can see that I have a new splint on today, so I will fill you in on all that's going on with that too. So let's get going. All right. I'm already sweating like crazy. I'm gonna try to move as quick as I can, but I just wanted to show you, these are the things that I use for fertilizing my containers. I typically use the water soluble fertilizer. I just use the Miracle Grow. There are lots of other brands out there also. And then for my edibles, I've been using this organic espoma, kind of an all-purpose plant food. It's again a liquid plant feed that just gives your vegetables a quick shot of nutrients that they sometimes really need as they get bigger and bigger and you want them to grow their absolute best. So I am going to mix up some containers with this for my veggies and herbs, and then for my flowers I'm going to use the Miracle Grow. And I have collected some galvanized watering cans. Over the years, I got one new one this year. These are just all old, kind of vintage antique watering cans that I love, and I'm just gonna use these to feed my pots today. You can also use an attachment that goes on the end of your hose. I do have one of those, but I have a lot of trouble screwing things on and off with my hand. So today I'm just going to use the watering cans. So I'm going to fill these so that they're ready to go for my containers. And then I'm going to go one by one and show you what I have and just figure out what needs done for them. All right. So for the Miracle Grow, I put in one big scoop per container per watering can. I'm going to do 2 of the Miracle Grow and then 1 of my espoma. This calls for, I think, about 2 cupfuls per can. So let's see if I can do this without spilling. Hey, Rosie. This is the stinky stuff. Whoop. There we go. Rosie is sniffing it out. All right, easy as that. I'm just gonna fill them up. And then I'll have 3 ready to go, and I will need to refill them as well. This won't be enough to do all of my containers. So let's start with this container. This is on kind of the corner here of our patio. This turned out super beautiful. I really love how it's looking right now. In this container, I have a purple bacopa that is doing fantastic. These have not always done great for me. I think particularly if they're in too much sun, they tend to fizzle out, but this kind of gets part shade right here. It is doing so good and looks so beautiful. And then I have 2 white alyssum on either side that are also looking gorgeous right now. And this beautiful pink geranium, absolutely beautiful. This is a white bidens. This is Campfire Marshmallow. It's a Proven Winners plant. Back in here, it just started to really take off. And then right down in there, you can kind of see an ageratum that is just trying to peek out right there. And I have another geranium back there that is getting swallowed up by this black-eyed Susan vine. This is a Proven Winners black-eyed Susan vine. I think it's orange appeal or tangerine appeal. I forget the exact name. It puts off super beautiful flowers. The only thing about this is I did not string it up early enough. I just recently put some fishing line that is going all the way up to the top here. My thought was that it would climb up this pole, but it didn't end up really climbing up the pole. So I added the fishing line, and it's kind of this loose vine that climbs and cascades to the side. It's not a real tight climber. You can see that it's kind of cascading in the front there. So I'm not sure if I would use this again in a container like this, but it does look very beautiful. It's like just that drapey kind of feel that it has to it is really, really pretty. And I do love those flowers. It might have done better if I would have had a structure in the middle of the container just to help it to climb a little bit better in the center instead of all over the other plants. But that is my first container that I am very happy with. So I think for this one, I don't need to do a whole lot. I'm gonna feed it, and then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna trim back some of these geraniums that are a little bit spent. You can see this one's getting a little crispy. I'm gonna trim it all the way down to the where it kind of intersects with the other stems, all the way down to the bottom there. And then that just helps it to really flush out new growth a lot better. So let's do some quick deadheading and move on to the next one. When I'm going in here to deadhead, I can also just clean up these leaves that have gotten yellow and browned and just are dead. And that'll just help the container to look a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater. There's not a whole lot of these that need trimmed back, but this is why it's really great to do if you're going to be going on vacation. It's a great thing to do right beforehand, because by the time you get back, you will have a beautiful container that has flushed all new growth, and the fertilizer will have helped it to really push out some new blooms. And if you really chop things back, it's nice to just kind of let them regrow while you're gone, so you don't have to look at a kind of sparse container. I actually think that is all I need to do as far as trimming goes for this guy. He's looking really, really good. Beautiful. I'm just gonna give this one some fertilizer and then I'll be done. For this size container, I will probably give this whole watering can. This can handle this much water and fertilizer. Whoop, there we go, overflow. All right, I'm just gonna spin you around and show you over here. I have a pot of nasturtiums. I did have this on my deck, but they were quickly fizzling out. So I only have 2 nasturtiums left in here. The rest died on me. Nasturtiums do not do great in the heat. They kind of prefer like a part shade situation, especially in the heat. So I just stuck this down here to see if I could save them for any longer. So I may give those a little bit of fertilizer. And then these are my Kimberly Queen ferns right over here in front of the hot tub. I am going to give them some fertilizer today. These actually came from one Kimberly Queen fern that I bought at, I think, Home Depot for I want to say $15, somewhere around there. And I actually just cut that fern in half and potted them in these containers. My mom actually did this for me. I had a lot of people helping me with these containers with my hand, but they have filled out so beautifully. You would never know that these were both from the same fern and that they had been sliced in half. They have gotten huge, so that's a great way to save money. You can do that with Boston ferns, with Kimberly Queen ferns, but I am going to give these a quick shot of fertilizer just so they stay looking their best, and then we'll move on right behind me. I'll show you my veggie containers. They are looking gorgeous. I love the pop of green that they give right in front of our hot tub here. I'm gonna swing you over around here past my corner container. And this is our patio area where we have a little fire pit. I have lots of hopes for the backside of this house. It's not looking super beautiful right now, but I think it would be really fun to put a big planter, like a long kind of rectangular planter right there behind the chairs, and be able to grow something along this wall. It would be so pretty someday to add some window boxes. Wouldn't that be beautiful? I don't know if my husband would be game for that, but I think it would be pretty. And then right back in here, I would love to add some more beautiful planters, or maybe someday like a garden workbench, something real pretty right here in the corner. But for right now, I really wanted to be able to grow veggies, and I don't have a lot of space in my yard and my other gardens. So I purchased a bunch of grow bags. These are the 5-gallon size. And then I have a little galvanized tub right here that, again, could be used a lot better in a prettier situation, but I do love it. My mom found that for me this year, actually, at I guess kind of like a vintage thrifty store that has a lot of garden things that they get in near her house. And just a small little container here that I started from seed. These are actually dwarf tomatoes from Renee's seeds, and I'm forgetting the name of them, but they were real slow to take off, and hopefully towards the end of the season I will get some tomatoes from them. Now this bucket we did not drill holes in, which I think was a mistake. I thought, well, let's just see how it goes, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it as strictly a planter or use it for something else. But I think if we're going to use it as a planter, we will need to drill holes in it. You can see the plants are kind of yellowing. These are 3 dwarf zucchini that also I had bought from Renee's seeds that I started from seed. They have not yet put on fruit for me. I don't know if it's the water issue or what. And then another dwarf tomato that I did just pick one off of yesterday. And I have some parsley tucked back in here, and some Swiss chard, teeny tiny little Swiss chard that I transplanted in here that I had also started from seed. So that is my little galvanized container. And then I also have 3 jalapeno plants that we also have been picking from. You can see they're getting more fruit already. And 2 more dwarf tomato back there. I have a sweet potato plant that I just really wanted to try to see if I could grow sweet potatoes. And this is a cucumber plant that, again, is from Renee's seeds. It's a dwarf cucumber. Let me see if I can find any babies. Oh, there's one teeny tiny baby. Is that gonna focus? There we go. So no full-size cucumbers yet. And I have 2 more babies that are growing right in there. And then I have 2 containers filled with green beans that, again, are Renee's seeds. They are another dwarf variety. This year was the year for dwarf variety plants to experiment with all of those seeds. So I am looking forward to seeing how they all do for me. And I'm gonna give these a shot of my Espuma fertilizer to help them to hopefully take off a little bit better. So those are really most of the containers here on the patio, not a ton. So I'm gonna take you up to my deck and we're gonna just see what's going on up here. So up here I have some containers. This is where I start my seeds from on my deck. They don't look the most beautiful. I'll show you those real quick, but this is probably my most favorite container of the year. I absolutely love it. When I thought about this container, I wanted to attract all of the hummingbirds and butterflies and bees that I possibly could. So I put in a lot of plants that attract those things. I have so far seen one hummingbird and a bunch of bees. I have not seen a ton of butterflies yet, but I haven't seen them really anywhere yet. I don't know, they're kind of slow to come on this year or something, but this is so beautiful. I tried to add in all the colors. If you guys have ever seen Tracy on Plaids and Poppies, she is on Instagram. She is an inspiration for sure when it comes to all of the colors. She likes to add all of the most vibrant colors, every color she can think of, into her containers and into her landscape. And it's extremely gorgeous. She is so inspirational. I take a lot of inspiration from her gardens. So her style definitely inspired me with this container. But I'm just gonna show you up close what I have in here. In the back, these are going bonkers. These are actually Magellan zinnias. I planted these from seed over on one of the sides of my fence, on that main flower walk that I have over to my right, and they just are super floriferous. Can't say that word. They get to only about 12 inches tall, which is really nice. They just stay a much more tidy size, and they're perfect to use in containers. And then in the middle here, I have a Persian shield that will probably be the tallest plant in this container, just to add a little bit of drama and a little bit different texture. And then this is, I think it's Play in the Blues Salvia. I'll have to double check my tags to make sure I have that right. Very, very beautiful, and just continuously putting out new buds, new blooms. Right behind it is a Vermillionaire. This is a Proven Winners variety. Unfortunately, I have dealt heavily with Japanese beetles in this container. You can see the leaves are heavily eaten by the beetles, so that is not looking so pretty, but the Vermillionaire is what attracts all of the hummingbirds. It is basically a hummingbird only plant because no other pollinator can get into these tiny little trumpet shaped flowers, only the hummingbirds' long beaks. So if you want to attract hummingbirds, definitely add Vermillionaire to your containers or your garden. I have seen one on it. I think they come when I'm not looking because my hummingbird feeders are almost empty also, so I know that they're around. They're just not around when I'm outside. But I was able to see it while I was doing the dishes from inside, so that was really cool. That was my hope. And then I have this lantana right behind it that is actually, it's called Red Bandana, and it comes out kind of a yellow-orange color, and then it turns to a more vibrant red as it ages. So super pretty lantana. And this is a alyssum that I grew from seed. My alyssum that I grew from seed are not doing great. They're just all real leggy and just not very compact and tight looking compared to this one that I believe I purchased from my nursery, my local nursery. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna trim back the alyssum on the left here to see if I can get it to be a little more tidy. And then right tucked in there is an ageratum. Ageratum is awesome to tuck in. to small, tight little places. And another beautiful pink geranium. So all of the colors, absolutely in love with this container. I'm definitely going to repeat some of this next year. So let's just give this a good feed and trim back that alyssum. And I really don't think I need to do much else to it. I might just check on the zinnias to see if there's anything that needs deadheading. The geraniums look good. I think that's it. So my hummingbird container is all tidied up and looking good. And now I'm going to show you real quick what I have growing in these containers. I save all of these old plastic containers from plants that I've bought to start seeds in. So I have some strawberry fields gumfrena growing still in a milk jug that I'm actually going to transplant into here to see if I can get it to grow a little bit better. Here I have some Pro-Cut red sunflowers that my daughter Sadie had picked out, trying to get some of those going. I have some Oklahoma mixed zinnia started and some more Magellan zinnia. Unfortunately, I'm going to complain for just a second. We have a family of baby bunnies in our yard, like 3 baby bunnies, and they have been eating down a ton of my zinnias. I am so sad. I have been spraying every night, but they do not care about the spray. They eat regardless. So I have some of these starting, so hopefully I can replace some of the ones that are just destroyed. They've also been eating my cosmos. So sad. I also have some Soraya sunflowers going and some more Desert Sun sunflowers and some foxglove. So I will be transplanting these whenever I get back from our trip. I'll probably be moving stuff around in the ground and putting some of these things in. So that is my plan there. And I'm going to swing you around right over here and show you this little corner over here. I apologize about the harsh sun. It keeps going in and out from behind the clouds, but it is out right now. But this is kind of an area where I just tend to stick things, and I do a lot of single things in containers. I don't really put a whole lot of thought into it, and some things are not in full bloom yet, but I am just going to show you what I have up here. So the first container in the back here, this is, I think, basically what I did last year. I put in 3 Sea Petunia Bordeaux, which is one of my favorite petunias. This is a Proven Winners brand petunia. I love that purple color. I think it goes so well with so many different colors. And then I have a pink Mandevilla vine growing up this bamboo trellis that I just kind of makeshift. I tied it up top here with some twine, and it's just kind of starting to take off, but eventually it will. This is what it did last year. It should reach the top and start climbing on my cafe lights right here. It looked super pretty as it climbed across those lights. So I'm hoping it does the same thing this year. And I may go in and just lightly trim back these. I did already trim them back a little bit once a couple weeks ago, but the petunias tend to get leggy as the season goes on, and if you cut them back, that helps them to fill out a little bit fuller. So right now might be a good time to do that. I have this gigantic container of mint. Mint is something that you should always plant into a container because it spreads like wild in the ground. So you will have mint for years and years if you put it in the ground. It'll be really hard to get rid of. But I have a mixture of strawberry mint and chocolate mint. So this is what I call my chocolate covered strawberry mint pot. And this is an awesome thing to use to make mint tea. My mom used to always have mint brewing on the stove, and I have lots of good memories from that. So I think that I might go ahead and make a pot of fresh strawberry, chocolate covered strawberry mint tea today. Maybe I'll even do that with you quick. And I have a little crock here. This is a crock that my mom had given me. This is just an antique stone crock. This is more campfire marshmallow white Bidens that I had left over that I just stuck in there. And right beside it, I have a container of salmon geraniums. This is a geranium that I overwintered in a paper bag in my garage. And look how beautiful it is now, starting to flush out. I have a container of some more herbs. This is a beautiful oregano called Kent Beauty Oregano that I was so excited to find this year. It is an ornamental oregano. It gets these beautiful tips on it that almost look like little white flowers, and then it actually has these pretty little purple flowers. Can you see that right there, that are starting to come out? Just a gorgeous ornamental oregano. I believe it does like some part shade, so it's kind of tucked under all of these plants. Right behind it is a stevia plant. It's kind of blending in, but I thought that I could use some of the stevia leaves in my mint tea and see how that goes. And then I have a Monarda right back in here in this tall pot tucked back in here. I did not want to put this in the ground yet because I didn't know where I wanted it. And I did have to cut it back some because it got so big and so leggy. This plant can get up to 5 feet tall. So I am trying to figure out where I want it in my landscape, but it gets these beautiful red blooms that is irresistible to hummingbirds. I actually saw a hummingbird hovering over that direction last night, and I'm wondering if it was about to come to my Monarda plant here on the deck. So not too many blooms yet on that, but super, super pretty. I can't wait to see that in full bloom and figure out where I want that. It does spread a lot, so I'm thinking about planting it in a container, but I'm not completely sure. And I have a struggling strawberry pot that was just continually eaten down by animals, so I'm trying to bring that back. A petite French marigold, I believe this is, with yellow blooms that has not yet to bloom. I grew all that from seed. This is my rescue plant. It's a coneflower summer song firefinch that I'm trying to bring back to life in this container. And then this is a container that I seeded as well. This is Strawberry Fields Gomphrena that is just starting to bloom out. So this will get beautiful bright red, like ball-shaped flowers with actually yellow speckles that look like seeds. You can see one, my camera's not focusing, but you can kind of see the yellow speckling coming out a little bit, but they actually look like strawberries. So very excited to see that put on full bloom and to see the rest of this come into more bloom also. So let's make a really quick batch of this strawberry, chocolate covered strawberry mint tea. Go inside, cool off for a few minutes, and then I will come back out and finish this container maintenance and take you around to my front porch. While my mint tea is cooling, I am just gonna fertilize these containers up here. I'm gonna do the same thing and give my flowers some Miracle-Gro and my herbs some of the Espoma Organic. I already came in and trimmed back my mint, so I don't really have too much to do. I think I'm just going to snip my petunias, my super doe petunias, just a little bit. I'm not gonna do a super harsh cutback because I don't think they need a super harsh cutback right now, but just enough to just encourage them to fill out a little bit better. I think everything is looking a little bit tidier, a little bit nicer. Really didn't have to do much at all. Gave everything a good feed. So hopefully within the next few weeks, everything really just begins to explode with new growth and new blooms. So that is all that I have back here on my deck and on my patio. So let's take a walk up front and see how things are looking out there. Here, my sun patience are starting to fill in super, super beautifully. They will hopefully be touching soon. And my ferns are really filling out, getting super big, which is exactly what I wanted them to do. And then over here, I have this beautiful container that I did, gosh, a couple months ago, probably one of the first containers that I did. It is just gorgeous. It is overflowing. I do have some trimming to do today, but in this one, I put these bright pink geraniums that have exploded in growth. They definitely need deadheaded. I have this grape, I'll get the exact name, but it's another Proven Winners plant. It's a Calibrachoa grape punch, maybe something like that, but look how it has just really, really grown. It is filling out so nicely. I may give that a trim also, just to keep it fresh and looking good all season long. Sometimes they can kind of fizzle out. And then my angel wings right here is doing really well. I was a little nervous how it would do in the heat, but it gets part shade right here, so it actually is doing pretty good. The leaves are curling a little bit, but for the most part, as long as I keep it well watered, it does really well. And then I have this lemon coral sedum that also has exploded. It just got huge. But overall, I am really enjoying this container and it is doing really well. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna deadhead some of these real quick and give this some fertilizer as well. Is looking good. I'm gonna give you a quick update on the plants on my front porch. If you saw my porch video where I potted up all of these, they have grown quite a bit. Over here, this topiary, this is a Eugenia topiary, desperately needs trimmed. I probably will try to do that quick. And this is probably my favorite container on the porch. This turned out beautiful. It's a chartreuse fern, I'm not really sure the name of it, and then a purple streptocarpella and a white This was a New Guinea Impatient. They tend to do better in the full shade, so I put that right here since it doesn't really get any sun. And then swinging you over this way, I have a hosta from my front porch here when I divided all the hostas up here that I stuck into this little crock. And my wire vine is taking off, looking really pretty in the bird cage. I have a begonia right here that is exploded. That is the Surefire Rose Begonia by Proven Winners. I'm not sure, I might give it a light trim just to tidy it up a little bit, but not too severe because I want it to be bigger. And I don't think it'll flush out super well since it doesn't get a lot of sun up here. So I don't know, I might trim it a little bit just to get rid of some of the legginess. And then I already kind of showed you my ferns. They are really doing well. And I will probably feed those when we go away. I will take them down and put them on the porch to protect them a little more from the sun and give them a good feed at that point. And just bringing you over here, there's my water. Lots of water today. I have another little wire vine right here that is doing well also. Needs a little bit of water itself. And then in this corner, I just have a little grouping of another Surefire Rose Begonia that I believe I had already cut that back and it's just kind of flushing out. And then a Streptocarpella, not looking quite as good as the other one. And just a vine, a vinca or a ivy. And down here is where I put a white sun patient that is looking beautiful. These can handle a little more sun. This corner gets a little more sun, so it really enjoys its life here. That's just in an antique crock. And a little blue mouse ears hosta right there. So I'm gonna go through and just give these guys some fertilizer, and I have one more container to show you after that. Everything is trimmed and watered and fertilized. I did my best with my Eugenia topiary. It's looking really sad, but hopefully it'll fill out a little bit more, especially down here at the bottom. You can see that it's just kind of completely died out at the bottom. So I think next year I definitely need to give it some more sun, probably. And then I decided not to cut this yet. I don't know, I wasn't ready to get rid of the flowers yet, so I just left them. And everything else, I pretty much just gave some fertilizer. Our porch still needs cleaned. My pressure washer broke when I was cleaning it, probably back in the spring, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but everything is good, ready to go and grow while we are away. So I have one more container to show you. on the other side of our garage, I stuck this container. I did this months ago. I think this is the very first one that I did. It is getting super windy. Holy moly. I hope that my mic isn't picking all that up. But I had added this spike and I had overwintered these geraniums in paper bags. And look how beautiful they are. They came back so good and are just flourishing. They look so beautiful. And then I added this Diamond Frost euphorbia that I think it's been eaten by the bunnies because it was longer and a lot bigger. No big surprise. I have an ageratum, and this also I think had been nibbled. This was a Tradescantia type vine, purple heart. Oh yeah, that one definitely got a little bit nibbled. And then a creeping Jenny is kind of hiding back here. I had originally thought I was gonna put this in a location where you could see all the way around it, but I ended up not. I ended up putting my hummingbird pot up on the deck, so I just kind of stuck this right here. But I think that it adds just a little bit of extra beauty to this little corner that doesn't really have very much. So I'm gonna go in and deadhead the geraniums and fertilize it, and then I'll be done. Now that we got all of those containers done, let's go back inside and finish that mint tea. That sounds so good right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was a long day. I got a lot done. I really feel good about fertilizing all of my containers and tidying them up before we go away. And this mint tea is delicious. It is absolutely perfect after a really long day of working in this heat. I did add a little bit of extra stevia. I have some liquid stevia that I use. The stevia leaves that I put in to the tea just did not really sweeten it like I thought that they would. Maybe I just needed to add a lot more. I'm not sure, but I did add a little stevia and it made it absolutely perfect. It is so, so refreshing. So I just wanted to give you a quick update, like I said, on my hand. I saw my doctor 2 days ago, and I've been in hand therapy 2 to 3 days a week. I did get cleared to remove my splint from my wrist, which is so nice to have my wrist free. I'm having a hard time bending it back because it is so tight from being like this all of the time. So I really need to work on my range of motion of my wrist. But besides that, things are healing really nicely as far as my wounds are concerned. My ring finger and my pinky finger are all the way healed. I just have scars left, and I did regain feeling in my ring finger I think almost all of it, which is amazing. I'm so thankful for that. I still have a really long way to go with my index finger. I still have a lot of swelling. I still have a good amount of the neuropathic pain, and I have a lot of scar tissue. So I am barely able to bend the tip on my own. I can get a little more range of motion when I do it myself, but the scar tissue is basically surrounding the tendon, which is keeping me from being able to bend the tip on my own. So every hour I am doing exercises where I am doing my range of motion and massage and all kinds of things, and those things tend to flare up the pain. So it's just kind of this cycle of swelling and pain and scar tissue and all of these things. And I still don't have feeling in from like the middle joint to the tip, I have a little bit of feeling on the back side. So I'm just really praying for me to regain feeling at least enough to know that I am enjoying myself would be really nice, hopefully more. And just continuing to pray for the pain to keep going down. I am on a medication that I think helped to knock it down a little bit, but I still have a good amount that I deal with every day. So prayers appreciated for all of that. Thank you so much for continuing to stick with me during this time. I have been trying my best to get out one video a week. Some weeks maybe I'll have two, but most weeks I just try to do one because I have so much going on with all of my therapy and my household and my kids and all of that kind of thing. But I do enjoy making these for you guys. I hope that you enjoy them too. I really enjoy all of your comments and just interacting with you in the comments and getting to know you. It's really been a joy. So thank you so much. It is really windy out here. I am really praying that we get rain. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch for this evening, so hopefully we don't just get this quick drenching rain. Hopefully we get something that actually soaks into the ground. Hopefully you get some rain too where you are, and I will talk to you really soon. Bye.